we're going to discuss about The War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. And this is Youngjin, Uje, Sejun, and Hajun. And this book's title is War and Peace, and we're going to talk about the author. So author's name is Leo Tolstoy, who is from Russia and lived in 1828 to 1910. And he was the one of the famous universal author in this world, and he wrote his most famous book called War and Peace. And after he achieved literary acclaim in his 20s with his semi-autobiographical trilogy. He also wrote plays and numerous philosophical essays. And so here we prepared the summary. And summary of The War and Peace is broadly focuses on Napoleon's invasion of Russia in 1812 and follows three of the most well-known characters in literature. So the three characters are Pierre Bezukhov and Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, and Napoleon and Natasha Rostov. So the summary is, as Napoleon's army invades, by 1812, Napoleon's forces controlled much of Europe. Russia, one of the few countries is not conquered, prepares to face Napoleon's troops, together with Austria. Amongst the Russian soldiers are Count Nikolai Rostov and Prince Andrei Bolkonsky. Pierre's life changes when his father dies, leaving him a vast inheritance. And he is attracted to Natasha Rostov, Nikolai's sister. But she is too young, so he gives in to baser desires and marries the shallow, manipulative Princess Helen. The marriage ends when Pierre discovers his wife's true nature. Andrei is captured and later released by the French, and returns home only to watch his wife die in childbirth. A few months later, Pierre and Andrei meet again. Andrei sees Natasha and falls in love, but his father will only permit the marriage if they postpone it for 1 year until Natasha turns 17. While Andrei is away on the military mission, Natasha is drawn to Anatole Kuragin, a womanizer. Pierre saves Natasha by telling her of Anatole's past before she can elope with him. Napoleon invades Russia, and Pierre visits Andrei in the eve of the battle and observes the battle that follows. That is the summary. And here we go. We're going to talk about the characters.
To talk about the characters, there are two main characters I want to talk about, and those are Andrei and Nikolai. These two have similar but different lives, and so Andrei is one of the family members of the Bolkonsky family, and he went to the military while his wife was pregnant, so he had many confidence about joining the war, but Russia loses to French, and Andrei was injured and captured to the French. But when he got freed from the French, he was very happy to see his wife. But the happiness didn't go long because his wife died when she was laying her baby. But so he falls in a new love with Natasha. They love each other, but Natasha falls in love with another guy, so they break up. And he goes back to the army, and there's a second war with the French, but he gets injured again. Then Natasha looks at him and he cures him, but eventually Andrei dies. So Andrei had a tragic life, but for Nikolai, he had a really normal life because he went to the same army like Andrei, but he returned safely, not injured or captured. And he lost many monies by playing cards, and but contrast to Andrei, he had a happy love life, and the main point is that Andrei and Nikolai both went to the military but had different endings.
So here, then we'll talk about the reflection. So Uja and Sejong.
So before he starts the reflection of the story, I'm gonna quickly talk about the morals. And since there are a lot of morals in this story, I'm gonna focus on one specific moral, which is going to be the searching of the meaning of life. And yeah, so there are several characters in War and Peace experience sudden revelations about the absurdity of existence. And Andrew, for instance, has a near-death experience at Auschwitz that shows him a glimpse of truth beyond the falsity of earthly life. While Andrew needs a brush with death to bring about the spiritual vision, Pierce spends most of the novel wondering why his life is so empty and artificial. And the immediate cause of Pierre's pondering is his marriage to the wrong woman, but his thinking goes beyond Helen alone to include the vast mystery of why humans are put on Earth. And his involvement with the mystical practice of Freemasonry constitutes his attempt to give meaning of his life. And Tolstoy, however, shows the inadequacy of his approach as Pierre grows bored with the Masons and dissatisfied with his passivity. And finally, Pierre's involvement with politics, shown in his short-lived crazy obsession with assassinating Napoleon, is equally shallow. And what finally gives meaning of Pierre's life is the experience of real love with Natasha.
Okay. When we look at the inner psychology of the real figures of the aristocracy, we could feel a sort of rejection and just thinking about how to create our family and how to benefit from being close to them. Although the amount of war and peace in Tolstoy was huge, we could see the life of the common people in Russia is more deeply, and as it was a historical novel written by Tolstoy by reference to numerous books, I think it was more helpful to know the relationship between Russia and France.
So this is all.
Thank you.